I backtested over 800,000 candles in less than 2 minutes. But the craziest part is that with this one little change, I was able to take the best results from only $100 to making over $20,000 of pure profit. Most YouTube channels will only backtest one possible setting combination. But let's get real. That will only lead to loss after loss after loss. There is a new type of system to where we will backtest bigger and better strategies like the one I'm about to show you. All of my successful trading bots follow a simple step-by-step strategy that I'm about to show you completely for free so that you can backtest your ideas and make your gains look like this. You don't need years of experience, a genius IQ, or thousands and thousands of dollars to invest. You can start your journey with just $100 and see growth of 500% or more on most of your strategies. So once you understand these simple concepts, you will be able to beat the odds and become someone who is able to find successful strategies literally all the time. If you follow the whole video, you could end up with results like my viewers have done, like this one right here. And here is another viewer, and also this one right here. Alright guys, for today's video, we're going to be going over this strategy. It's a MACD EMA strategy. We're first going to download some candles, set some settings for the MACD. We're going to set some settings for the backtester. I'm not going to go over this because we're going to actually do this in the video. We're going to run the backtest. We're going to look at some of the results here, and then we're going to run a final backtest so that way we can see exactly where we entered, where we exited, and all of that fun stuff. You can see the P&L graph, and we are going to start out with this file right here where we are going to actually just generate the signals, okay? And so we're going to just generate the signals, and that's the first thing that we're going to do. So if you're brand new or any of that other fun stuff, if you don't know Python that well, if you don't know NumPy that well, you go down below and you join my Discord. You click on the link. You click on the link, it'll take you here, and then you join the Discord community, and you go in there and you ask, I need the beginner's guide. Give me the free beginner's guide. I need help. I need the basics. I will hook you up, and I will let you know exactly what you need to do with a free guide. And then also, too, you can sign up to some of the exchanges that I have here as well. All right? And so the first thing, you have to understand already how to pip install. I think we're on Quant Freedom 0.1.3. If you have any problems, you come to the Discord, you let me know. And you're going to have to already understand how to pip install. You're going to have NumPy pip installed. You're going to have Quant Freedom pip installed. You're going to have ta-lib pip installed. Okay, if you don't understand what any of that stuff means, you go to the Discord and you tell me and you let me know, and we'll get you situated. All right? Because this video is under the assumption that you know at least the basics of NumPy and the basics of Pandas and the basics of Python. All right? If that is you, we shall continue. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're here. We're starting. So the first thing that you're going to have to do, also too, yeah, if you guys want the files and all of this other stuff, you go to the Discord and ask there. So import NumPy, import Plotly as graph objects as Go, make subplots, quantfreedom.enums candle body type, import DLXEX candle, so this just stands for download exchange candles, and then MACD TV and EMA TV. These are all trading view. So I took the trading view Pine script and I turned it into Python. And this is just to format any numbers into like 2 decimal places right here. And so you should be able to do this, run this cell. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do candles equals DL, EXL, whatever, EX, exchange equals, I'm downloading them from Mutex. So I've got a bunch of different exchanges as far as within Quant Freedom. And you also can run this strategy live at the end of it too. I'll be able to help with that. So just stay tuned to the very end and I'll tell you exactly how I'll help you go ahead and run the strategy live if you'd like to. But just follow along with me with the exchanges, and then once you get to the end, if you want to change it to Binance, Bybit, whatever, you can change the exchanges, because you can see here we have a whole bunch of different exchanges that you can choose from to get the candles. But I prefer Mutex for right now. It's just the easiest. and it's decentralized. So that's also a big plus. So the symbol is going to be BTC USDT, and time frame is going to be the 5 minutes, and the candles to download is going to be 1500. And so again, there's always updates. Things are messing up. People have different versions of Python. Again, this is why I'm saying if you have any questions, you come to the Discord and ask. So the first thing that we're going to do is going to do date times equals candles. And then we're going to say, give me all of the rows for the column candle body type. It's going to be timestamp. And this is going to be as type. This is going to be date time 64. We're going to do ms for milliseconds. And so that all we're doing is, if we take a look at what the candles are, these are just it's just a NumPy array. And in the first column, it's the date times in millisecond form. This is the open, high, low, close, volume. Okay, and so that's all we're doing here. This candle body type timestamp is basically just the same thing as 0. So instead of typing 0, I type timestamp. That way it's just easier to read. So we're going to do closing prices. Prices equals candles. And then candle body type dot close. And then we're going to do low prices equals candles. And then we're going to do this. Candle body type dot low. And so what have we done here? We basically just taken this column, low column, close column, and saved them as variables. So now if I just do close prices, we just now have an array of close prices, okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to define our inputs. So we're going to say MACD below equals 0. So that's going to say, hey, only generate signals when the MACD is below 0, okay? Then we're going to have fast length equals 12. Then we're going to have slow length equals 26. Then we're going to have signal smoothing equals 9. We're going to have EMA length equals 200. So these are the same default settings that you would get on TradingView for the fast length, slow length, signal smoothing, all of that fun stuff. And so now that we have all this, we're just going to run this. So that's just going to give us an EMI length of 200. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to now create the MACD. So for the MACD, we're just going to do histogram MACD signal equals MACD TV, which stands for TradingView. And then we're going to do source is going to be closing prices. Then we're going to say fast length is going to be fast length. Slow length is going to be slow length. The signal smoothing is going to be signal smoothing. Okay, and you can also change up how, there's oscillator type and signal moving average type. They're both at the exponential moving average from TradingView. So here, and again, now we have an array for the histogram, an array for MACD, and an array for the signal. And then the next thing that we're going to do, and I'll just show you guys just to let you know. So here's the MACD. We have a bunch of values for the MACD there. All right. Next thing, EMA equals EMA TV. And we're going to do source is going to be closing prices. And then the length is going to be EMA length. Now we have our EMA like so. So we've got EMA values right there. So now we're getting into the portion of where we're actually going to be coding our strategy or our algorithmic trading thing, bot stuff. So we're going to do, so what we're going to do is say when the MACD crosses above the signal, then that's going to be a buy signal, okay? So what we need to do here is do previous MACD equals np.roll
MACD1, and then we're going to do previous MACD 0 equals np.nan. And we're going to do previous signal equals np.roll signal. And we're going to do 1, and then this is going to be previous signal 0 equals np.nan. So what's happening here is we're taking the MACD and we're just shifting it to the right one, and then in the very beginning we're putting an np.nan, and we're doing the same thing for the signal. And so the reason why we're doing that is because we need to do this. So we need to do previous MACD below signal equals previous MACD is less than previous signal. So what this is saying is like, give me true values every time the MACD is below the signal. So if the MACD is below the signal like this, give me just give me true values for every single element that's actually true. Then the next thing that we need to do is say current MACD above signal equals MACD greater than signal. So now we're saying, give me all of the values where the MACD is above, or the MACD is above the signal. So first we were doing it like this. MACD is below the signal. Now we're doing it like this. MACD is above the signal. And so where that point meets, you'll be able to see that's where we get our crossover, right? So the next thing that we have to do is do low price below EMA equals low prices greater than EMA. So now we're saying the EMA is here and the low prices are here. So tell me every time that it's true that the EMA or the low prices are greater than the EMA, which basically means that the price is above the EMA. Some people like to use closed, some people like to use opens, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're choosing the low prices here. Again, just follow along with me. And then at the very end, if you guys have any questions about customizing it or whatever you want to do or different whatevers, you come to the Discord. Let's talk about it. That's what the community is for. Okay. And again, if you have any questions, that's when you go to the Discord. You go down below the links, whatever it's called. You click on the Discord community. You join there. And then again, also to take advantage of these exchanges. They have some money off. You can get like up to $4,000 depending on which ones you choose. I prefer Mufex right now. As I'm making this video, I prefer Mufex and Bybit as well, Binance and all these other things. These are decentralized exchanges. Bybit and Binance are centralized and they're the most trusted. But yeah, Mufex, Apex, Didex, but I prefer Mufex as of making this video right here. All right. So now the next thing that we need to have is we also need to check the MACD is below number equals MACD is less than MACD below. So now we're saying the MACD is below 0. So the MACD has to be below 0, okay? Think of it as like RSI is below 50 or whatever. So now we have all of these are true and false values. So you can see here we just have an array of true and falses. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to say our entries equals low price below EMA equals true. And we'll just duplicate this a couple times. So previous MACD below signal. Then we'll come down here and say current MACD above. I don't think current. MACD above signal. I don't know why I said current. It doesn't make sense. Why do I even have previous? What the fuck? It's MACD above signal, MACD below signal. MACD, there we go. So we have to run this again. Okay, so MACD above signal, and then now we have MACD below number. So when all of these things are true, that's what our entries are going to be. So if what we're doing is saying if we have elements 0, 1, 2, and 3, and we are saying like, okay, let's say that all for all 4 of these things, column 3 is true. That is now going to create a true for our entries array. So only time is when all of the elements are true. That gives us a true for our entry. Okay, so that's what's happening. And this is why I was saying you need to have at least a decent understanding of NumPy in order to really actually understand what's going on, because the whole point of all of this, right, is you have to know how to build your own strategy. You have to know how to build your own true and false signals for your entries. Okay, this is like extremely easy to do if you understand NumPy, and you have to know how to generate entry signals. Okay, and so now we have to these are our entries, our true and false entries. Now we have our entry signals. Entry signals equals np.where entries macd np.then. So what we're doing here is we're creating an array and saying where it's true, put the value of the MACD, because that's where we're going to put our little blue dots for our signals. That's just going to show up on the graph, and everywhere else just put np.nan. Okay, and next I'm just going to copy this. I really don't want to type this because this is not a Plotly class. But you have to understand it. You have to understand Plotly or some type of plotting software, because without it, you have no idea what you're looking at. You're just having to hope. I can't tell you how many times I have done something and then I plot it and I realize, oh my God, there's something terribly wrong with what it is that I have done. Some type of calculation is messed up completely somewhere. So you have to understand this. But the good news is that once you do it like a couple of times, you'll just remember it, because you're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. So we have our fig equals go.figure. We have our date times. We don't need this because we already have the date times. Then we need to make subplots. We're going to have 1 column, 2 rows. Shared x-axis is true. The first subplot is going to be candles. The second is going to be MACD. We're going to say out of 100, we're going to split the candles as 60% and the MACD as 40%. The vertical spacing is 0.1. So now here it's just, we're just adding our candlestick chart here. So you can see candlesticks, daytime, open, candles, high, low, close. So you guys can see this. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster because, again, this is not a Plotly. This is not about Plotly. So, so then and again, if you guys want this code, you guys can just come to the Discord and say, hey, I need the code, or check down below and see if I link the code. Hopefully I didn't forget. But if I did, you come to the Discord and ask. So here we're saying the date times. This is the EMA here. We're coloring it yellow. We're putting it in the same row. You can see here we put the candles in the same row as the EMA. Now here, this is why it's important to know NumPy as well. Okay, this is what I did in order to make the histogram look exactly like it does on TradingView. But yeah, we're just shifting the histogram, and we're saying wherever the histogram is greater than 0, then we are going to give it wherever the histogram is greater than or equal to 0, then we say where the previous histogram is less than the current histogram, then you give it this, else you give it this, and then else that means that the histogram is lower than 0, where the previous histogram is less than, give it this color, and then give it this color. You'll see what all of this stuff means later, but this is the np.where. The trace, we're just having a bar graph. This is the histogram, is the bar graph. That's on row 2. Here, we're going to add a MACD scatter. So this is just the MACD. And then here is going to be the signal. This is just going to be the signal. Again, these are go.scatter. This is what I was saying. Once you know how to make a scatter plot, then it's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And then here we have another scatter. These are going to be the markers. So this is marker, dict. We're putting circles. Blah, 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 more blahs. So now you can see here, this is our first row, our second row. We have our MACD. Remember how I was telling you about the ups and downs and stuff like that? And so here we have our colors. if the thing where I was doing the np.where, I was saying if the shifted histogram is greater than the current histogram, then this histogram gets this color. And then if the previous histogram is greater than the current histogram, then you would give it this color, but it's not. That's false. So therefore, we give it this dark green. And this is exactly the way it looks on TradingView. Same color, same everything. Everything is the exact same. And so that's where you have your plotting. And so now we have our signals. And so let's check our signals here, right? And so we said the MACD, this is the signal. Signal is below. Now we cross above here. Bam. So we said the previous is below. Now it's above. It's time to go. Or this is the MACD signal. I'm sorry. The MACD is the blue one. Okay. And the price, the lows, is above the EMA. Okay. Above the EMA. And so now we have generated our signals. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn it into a Python file. We're going to take all that stuff that we just did, turn it into a Python file. And then after we turn it into the correct Python file for Quant Freedom, then after we do that, then we'll get over to actually backtesting the strategy. But so far, we have made the signals, which is the most important part. If you do not know how to generate signals, if you do not know how, whatever strategy that you have, if you cannot boil it down to is it true that we create a signal or not? If you cannot do that, then you come to the Discord and you ask for help. That's why I'm making these videos. I'm not making these videos because I understand this. I'm making these videos to help you guys. So anyways, let's move on to the next section. For this section, we're going to be creating the class, the Python class that allows us to send a bunch of possible values in here. And then we will create the entries and exits, and then we'll be able to plot it. So we're just going to move everything that we did from the notebook to an actual Python file that allows us to actually then eventually we'll be able to run the backtest. So let's go ahead over to this section right here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to just basically copy what we have over here. Let's go ahead and grab this, bring it over to here. And we're going to paste all of this stuff in, except we're going to get rid of this that we have right here. And we are also going to import these other things right here. So, and we can get rid of this as well. So we have from logger import get logger, from typing import named tuple. Then we are going to also do from quant freedom dot helper. Well, actually, let's do it up here. Cart product. So we need the cart product. We have our candle bodies, and we also need this from freedom dot strategies dot strategy import strategy. Import strategy. All right. So we have everything that we need to start actually making this Python file. So first thing that we'll need to do is we'll create a logger, and I'll explain exactly what the logger is for a little bit later. So get logger, and you have to put info like this. Then the next thing we have to do is indicator settings arrays is going to be named tuple. So this is just going to basically be a named tuple, and the name is going to be indicator settings array. And here we're going to do EMA. Well, I think we can go back over to this. I think we can grab all these, paste them here, bring it over like this, and we're going to change all of this. So let's just go ahead and select these. Bring this to the next line. Then we'll also get over here. And we're going to do np.array. So now we've basically created a class, and we're sending it the name tuple, and these are the values in the class, or I mean, these are the variables that we're going to be using in the class, and basically for the name tuple. And so here, I like to put everything in alphabetical order because the alphabetical order is important for later on in the in the program that we're making. As of right now. So now we're going to do class, MACD, and EMA. And this is going to be a strategy. So again, we're creating a class. Again, if you don't know about classes, you're going to have to understand classes in order to actually work with this. So again, if you need help, you can follow along if you don't understand. You literally just type what I'm typing and it'll work. But if you need more help, again, you go to the Discord and ask for the beginner's guide there. So what we're going to do here now is, I think if we paste this, I think if we just do none like this, and we'll escape out of that. We'll put an equal sign here. So now inside of this, we have our MACD fast length, slow length, signal smoothing, and EMA length, and that is not the order. This is the order. Fast length, MACD, signal, and slow, okay? And the next thing that we'll do, we'll grab these. We're going to define the init. And we'll get rid of this. Get rid of this. We'll do this. Now we have to put, after we've pasted that in, we'll put our commas. And so now we have our init function with our self, our EMA, all of our information here all of these are going to be np.arrays. And then we also need to do long short. It's going to be a string. Okay, this is going to let us know whether we want to do a long or a short. Okay, and so now we do self.long short equals long short. Then self.log folder equals os.path. Oh, wait a minute. We need to also import os. Okay. So os.path.abs.path, and here os.path.join, os.path.directory name is going to be file, and we'll put the comma. So what this is basically saying is wherever my file is at, go up one folder, and then we're going to put our log folder there. So wherever this folder is at, which is right here, inside of here, we're going to go up one folder out of this to this folder, and then we're going to put our log files right here, okay, like we've already done when I was running this previously. Okay, so that's what this is. So again, if you don't understand OS, path, all this other stuff, you head to the Discord. All right. So now what we have next is we have to create the Cartesian product of all of the possible combinations of these. So here we're going to send like an array. Let's say that I wanted to test the EMA length of like 200, 300, 400, and 500. And then I wanted to test the fast length of like 20, 30, 40, 50, or whatever it is. So the Cartesian product is all of the possible combinations of that. So just to make it even easier to understand, let's say that we wanted to test 1, 2, and then the other thing was going to be 3 and 4. So that means the total possible combinations would be 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, and 2 and 4. Okay, so that's what the Cartesian product is. So that's what we have to do now, is basically create all possible combinations of what we're going to send it here. So we're going to do cart arrays equals cart product. Named tuple is going to be indicator settings array. And then we're going to do EMA length equals EMA length. Fast length equals fast length. MACD, and then signal smoothing, and last slow length is slow length. So this is a function that's going to create the Cartesian product based off of all of the different possible combinations that we are going to send this thing. Okay? And so that's going to be stored in the Cartesian product. And then here, what we need to do is cart arrays equals cart arrays dot t. Cart arrays 1 is less than cart arrays 4. And then we're going to do dot t. So what does this mean? Well, we go over here and we run this. And then we run this. So this is basically the same thing that we have here. So we have the indicator settings array, the name tuple, we have the fast length, we have our Cartesian product, and then we have this this thing right here. So let's go ahead and run this. So if we have this cart arrays, we have 100, 100, 100, 100, blah, 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 500, 500, 500, all of the possible combinations, right? And so this first one is EMA length, second one is fast length, third one is MACD, signal smoothing, and then slow length, right? And then if we come over here, we do not want for the MACD 1, right? 1 is going to be our fast length right here. This is going to be 1 is going to be our fast length. We do not want that to be less than our slow length. It's going to be 4. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do not want our fast length to be greater than our slow length. Okay, because then that would literally defeat the purpose. Because if your slow length is 50 and your fast length is 100, well, that's the exact opposite, right? So in order to take care of that, we need to first transform this. So that way it's EMA, fast, MACD, signal smoothing, slow length. So we've just done the transform. And so here what we're doing is, well, we'll do that later. But what we're doing here is we're saying, give me an array where all of the values of the fast length that are less than the slow length, okay? And then that's going to basically give me true, 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 true. It's true here, it's true here, true. It's false here, it's false here, it's false here, whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay? So what we need to do is now create a new Cartesian array of only the areas where this is true. Okay? And so now we are going to do this right here. So you can see if we do this, cart arrays, we have all these 100s and 10s and 0 and 5 and whatever, right? So you can see that we actually got rid of certain parts. You can see this one goes up to 500, but here we have it at 200. Here is like 230 and 280 and 330 and stuff like that. And so if this is the what is this? EMA length, we have our fast length, and we have our slow length. So here's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and we have our 10, 10, 10, 40, 40, 40, 40, and so on and so on. Okay, so that's what we're basically doing here is we are saying, return me all of the possible values only if the fast length is less than the slow length, okay? All right. So that's what this is. So we're resaving our cart arrays. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on the math and the NumPy behind it. Hopefully I did a good enough job of explaining it. But if you didn't understand it, again, you head to the Discord, you ask. But before you ask, you make sure that you have a decent understanding of NumPy, because this is you're going to be doing this type of stuff a lot. All right. So I'll ask you, if you ask me this question, I will ask you in the Discord, did you actually study? If so, prove it to me. And then if you do, then I will help answer your question. All right. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to do self dot indicator settings arrays. Then we're going to set this indicator settings arrays equals indicator settings arrays, and we're going to do EMA length is going to be cart arrays 0 dot as type np dot int, and so we can just duplicate this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll copy this over, copy this over, copy this over, and copy this over, and we'll change all of these. We'll also put our commas here, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so like we showed you over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's why the order matters. That's why I just always put everything in alphabetical order, because it just makes everything super easy. And from here, the next thing that we will do is this. I'm just going to copy this over. And so this is basically saying we're going to initiate this. So if we type in MACD and EMA, we're going to initiate it. We need this information. And here we are storing the information necessary. And then here we're saying if long short equals long, then we're going to set self.set entries exit arrays equals self.long set entries exit arrays. This is exactly why we had to have this a strategy here, is because inside of that we already have these functions and stuff like that named. Then log indicator settings, we're going to learn exactly why we're doing all of this later on, but you have to have this in the init. Then we're going to have long entry message is going to be our entry message. Self.long live evaluate. It's going to be live. So that way when you want to run this live, you can. So that's what this is going to be for. And then we're going to have chart title is going to be long signals here. And then we'll have this else. And so you just basically copy all of this, and then instead of long, you just change it all to short, like you see here. Okay? So if you need to, you can pause and finish that up. But if you have done so already, or you just copied it over, or whatever it is, we can move on to the actual part where we're actually going to be creating the long functions. All right, we're here at the long functions. So we're going to create this one, this one, this one, this one. Well, not the live one yet. But anyways, let's just go ahead and start. So we're going to grab this. We're going to do def this. And we're going to do self handles empty.array and end set index is an int. So the candles is the candles. The end set index is basically the indicator setting index. And so what that means is, like we talked about earlier, where if you have 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, the index of 1, 3 is going to be 0. The index of 1, 4 is going to be 1. The index of 2, 3 is going to be 2, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So we're going to go through and select the index of, like, let's say 0, and so it's going to grab 0 would grab 50, 10, 0, 10, 30. Then 2, index 1 would grab 0, 10, 0, 10, 80, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay? And then the candles are going to be the candles. So here we're going to do try. Except. Okay. Try except. I think. All right. So first thing first, we can go back over to our original file. And we'll grab these. Why is this thing so gigantic? I'll put these things here. Then we will come up here. We'll grab this. And we'll get rid of all of these commas. And we will do self.indicator settings arrays dot ind setting index. So what we'll do is we'll just copy this, put it here, 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 and here, and then we'll copy this. We'll do here, 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 and here, and then we will also do self dot. We'll put that here, 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 here. All right. So again, we'll be explaining all of this later, why we're doing all the selfs and stuff like that. But first, you have to just understand that this is the way my backtesting software reads everything, and it needs it in these types of formats. Okay, so we need to now grab the histogram. Let's grab this. This is going to be self, and this is going to be self. So again, like I said, the indicator settings array is this thing that we instantly create once we initiate it. So we initially get all of the Cartesian product possibilities, and then instead of having them as like card array 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we just put names to them inside of this tuple. Okay. And so here we have all of these. And now we have our self.histogram, self.macd, self.signal created from all of these fast length, slow length, signal smoothing, all of that fun stuff. Now we have to go and grab the EMA, which is right here. And this is going to be self.dot. This is going to be self.dot. All right. And we'll go over here and grab this. We'll move this over. This is going to be self.macd. This next one is going to be self.signal. And now we grab this. So do you see why it's really just important to understand how to actually just generate your signals? It's because once you do that, then actually creating the Python file is the easy part, right? You just literally copy and pasting a bunch of stuff, and the rest of it is just putting the self dot in front of all of these things. So here we have this self dot. I'm just going to copy this word since we're basically putting it all literally everywhere. Self. And now we have our entries. I think this is going to be self.entries. And then what do we have next? Entry signals. This is going to be for our plotting. Self. And then we also have to have our self.exit prices. It's going to be mp.full like self.entries. So we're just creating basically an array of np.nans, and that's for our exit prices. Because what we're going to do here is we're going to run the strategy as putting our stop loss at the low and doing a risk to reward. If you wanted to actually do this in a way where you're taking exit signals from an indicator, this is where you would do it. And you would get your exit signals the exact same way that you get your entry signals, okay? Exact same way. So if you would like, create it so that way, you know, you have your exit signals and then you can show me, and I'll help you edit things and stuff like that if you need any help with that. But for now, we're just going to do it like this. And then for our exceptions, we're just going to put this. So exception as E, logger.error. And we're going to say exception this, and then E, whatever the message is. And then we're also going to raise this, which is going to stop the program. Okay. And so that is going to be our long set entries and exits array. And then the next thing that we'll do is we're just going to create this log functions here. So this is going to let us know inside of our log file that we're going to create, this information is going to be able to show up. So we're going to have our long log indicator settings, and that's going to be self and then indicator settings index. And then my mouse has died. And so let's see here. All right. So the next thing we'll do is logger.info, and then I just have indicator settings index is going to be this, and then our EMA length is this, fast length is this, MACD is this, and this, and this. So that way it tells us, like, every time that we select a new set of indicators, if there's something wrong in the log or something is going on, I know exactly which indicator, what the settings are for the indicator in case I wanted to like dig deeper into what's going on. So that way I know exactly which indicator settings are being used for one of the loops that's going on inside of the backtesting, okay? And then here, this entry message, you can just put whatever you want, entry time. You can put whatever you also want here. It's up to you. But I think, at least for me, the most important parts are this. And again, I would suggest just follow along with what I'm doing for right now. And then once you get used to how everything is structured, you can go ahead and change everything up the way you'd like to. And then here for the long entry message, I just have entry time. And then here you can, you know, put what other information you need once you can see what the actual log files look like. All right. And then after that, this is where you would create your short functions here. So if you want to go ahead and short, so this is the other thing too. If you want free lessons from me, if you want free help from me, I would say go ahead and you create your own short functions. You create your own short signals inside of here, and then you make sure that you can plot those out properly. And then you can come in here, apply the same exact stuff here, except it's all going to be short functions. You do that here. You show me your GitHub link. You show me the file that you created and all this other stuff. And then if you need any help or anything like that, I do not mind helping you do whatever, because this shows that you're serious and you want this. And so, you know, I'll give those lessons to people for free for those who actually want to put in that work and learn how to do that. Okay. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to move over to the plotting side of things. All right, here we are for the plotting, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this. And the thing that we're going to do is we're going to do def plot signals and get rid of this. Okay, so we're just going to need the candles here. And so basically what we're going to do is just copy this whole thing, paste it here, do like that. And so our date time is going to be necessary. Let's see. All right, so we basically have that date time from here. Let's see. And then we have our, so I literally just copied and pasted this over. So we have all the candle stuff that we need. We have this EMA here. We're going to do self dot Histogram is going to be self dot. Histogram here is going to be self dot. We're just going to add this self dot to a lot of the stuff here. Okay. Signals. So everything should work. We don't have any yellow markers. We don't have anything. So this is actually pretty easy. And so now the next thing that we have to do is we have to go and test it. And so we will go ahead and create another file to go ahead and test all of this stuff. All right, here we are in the testing file. And so what we'll need to do is do this import numpy as np from strat. That's the name of the file that I created here. From strat import macd ema. From quant freedom, we don't need that. From quant freedom.helper functs, we need the dl-ex candle so that we're downloading the candles. And then here, this is just a print option. So we'll run this. We'll download the candles from Mufex. And, again, as far as the different exchanges and stuff like that, I got all these. Let me show you guys. I got Mufex is a really, really good one. As of right now, it's the best DEX I like. Decentralized exchange. And then for centralized, I love Bybit. I love Binance. And again, if you guys want, you guys can get specific amounts of money off your fees, or you can get like money actually sent to you depending upon your deposit amount of all of those. So anyways, so here we're going to have macd strat equals macd ema after we've downloaded these candles. So we'll run this. We'll run this. And so this, we're sending it along. So we're going to do a long strategy. The EMA length is going to be this range. So a range is 100 to 500 and 1. So that's just going to basically be 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Then it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 1. So it goes up to 60. It only goes up to 59 if you choose 60. So you always have to make sure that you choose one more than what you actually want to do. So this is going to go 10 through 60. This is going to go 0, 25, 50. This one's going to go 5, 10, 15. This one's going to go 30, 60, 90, 120. Okay, so those are all of the different things that we have. And so if we want to go and see about what's all that self stuff about, well, macd dot indicator settings array dot ema length, and it shows you all of these, the Cartesian product of all of the possibles. So we have 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 200, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So size, so our Cartesian product size is 855, okay? So we have 855, 855, 855, 855, 855. So set entry and exit arrays. So that is this. Remember, we did long. Set entry and exit arrays is actually going to call this function right here. And this function, we just did this. So when we call this function, just like my backtester does, we're going to just run through this code right here. And we do that. So now we have all of our information here. So I think if we did this macd.ema, you can see we have our EMA, okay? Because that's what we did. We defined the EMA in here. We went through EMA length, EMA, MACD, blah, 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 blah. So all that stuff is looking like it's working. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll just plot the signals. And so you can see here, we set the indicator setting equal to 0. So I showed you guys last time. We're basically going to grab all of these, the first element of each one of those possible settings and all of that other stuff. And we have now taken those and created the MACD and the EMA based off of those. And so now we go to the plot signals, and now you can see that we have our signals that are generating properly. So if we zoom in here, again, we can see the histogram, we can see all of the signals generating properly and everything. So we have kind of verified, or not kind of verified, we have verified that basically all of these things work. And then if I did a macd strat dot message entry log entry message. Uh-oh. what do I have to send here? Long log indicator. Let's see if this actually. Oh, no, it's not going to do anything. This isn't going to do anything either because it's sending it to the log. Okay, so that's that for making sure that we have created the plots and everything is working fine. And so now we need to go through and actually create the actual back test. And so we're going to do that next. All right, it is back testing time. And so as you guys can see, the first thing that we want to run in the cell is import numpy as np from strat import macd from quantfreedom.enums import all everything from quantfreedom.helperfuncts dl run from quantfreedom.simulate import run df backtest comma order records backtest or or backtest. Okay, and then again these are just some printing functions here. So again, as always, well, let's do this. Whatever. Here I'm just gonna download on the 15-minute time frame the last 3,000 candles. Okay. And so we'll go ahead and run that. And then we will go back over to this and grab all these. So we have this. I don't want to do this because this is going to be a lot of combinations and I'm not trying to sit here for... Actually, I have the power of pausing, but I have no idea how long this is actually going to take. So let's just change some of these numbers so that way it's not massively going to take 100 million years. So let's just change this to 31. Let's just change this to 26. This is going to be fine, and then this would be 30, 60, 91. Good Lord, let's see how long this is going to take. All right. So the next thing that we'll need to do is this. So these are very specific to Quant Freedom, the thing that I've made. Again, this is the way it is right now on the day that I'm making this video. Whatever upload date this is the way it is right now. If somehow you are watching this in the far, far future of before AI has taken over everything and you can't get on the internet, I'd say if you have any questions about what exchange setting is, what backtesting settings are, you go to the link down below. You go to the website and you type it in. You type in whatever function, anything that you have a question about, and or you come to the Discord and you ask me. But first, you can go to the website. And if it is not there, if the information is not there, I'm a one-man show right now as I'm making this video. I'm making these videos and all this other stuff to help you guys. So if it's not there, if the information that you need is not there, which there's going to be a lot of problems all over the place. This stuff is still in beta and all this other stuff. You come to the Discord and tell me, hey, this is not there. Hey, I need this information. And then I'll get it there. Okay? I'm running too many things at once and trying to do too many things at once. I'm going to forget a whole bunch of stuff. So if something is not there, if you need the help, that's why you come to the Discord and help and tell me. And then that way I can fix things and get the right information to you guys so that everything works, okay? Because if I didn't care, I wouldn't be making these YouTube videos, right? This would be a gigantic waste of time. But I need your guys' help in order to help me make the best tutorials and make the best everything. So give me the feedback. Let me know what's going on with any problems or anything like that. Because if you don't let me know, I can't fix it. Because if I knew there was a problem, I'd fix it, right? Yeah. So anyways, this exchange setting is basically exactly, I'll just do a fast little overview of this. The exchange setting is like the asset tick step is going to be 3 because it's like a 0.001. Leverage mode is going to be a cross or isolated. Leverage tick step is going to be like 100.01. Limit fees, market fees, max asset size. So this is how much you can put up there. Max leverage, 150. Minimum asset size. So the maximum you can do is like from Bitcoin is 100 Bitcoin. The minimum you can do is like 0.001 Bitcoin. Minimum leverage is 1. MMR percent. Position mode is long, short, or both. And price tick step is going to be 1. So that's like 2000.1, 2000.2, 2000.3. Okay. And so here, the next thing that we will have is our static order settings. And so here again, if you want to know more about static order settings, you can go to the website, check out the YouTube videos that are associated with this, and it will explain all of this stuff in more detail. But you have some different settings for increased position type. You have some different settings for leverage strategy type. Leverage strategy type dynamic just auto updates your leverage to put your leverage right below your stop loss, so that way you have more money to work with to get yourself into other trades. But because the less leverage you use, the more money you have to put up. But the more leverage you use, the less money that you have to put up. Everybody's so scared of leverage, but that's because they have no idea how it works. This actually is amazing. And then here, the increased position type, we are going to risk a % of our account entry size. So that's basically saying I want to risk 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, or whatever it is of my account. Make that the entry size. So if I had like $100 and I wanted to risk 1% of that, that would mean I want to risk $1. So make that my entry size. And my backtester and stuff like that does the calculation to make sure that you're only going to risk losing $1. There's some math and stuff like that behind how that works, but that's just the one that we're going to be using. Min max stop loss based on candle body. That's what this is. So this is basically saying you want to put min here if you're in a long position, because we want to look at the lowest low of the candles in order to figure out where we're going to put our stop loss, right? If you're shorting, you want it to be max, because we want to look for the maximum high, right, of the candles. When we're going to look back like 10, 20, 30 candles or whatever it is, give me the maximum of all of the highs, so that way I can put my stop loss there if we're shorting. If we're longing, I want to look for the lowest low of the past like 30 candles and put my stop loss there. So that's what the minimum is. So that's what our stop loss strategy type is going to be, stop loss based on candle body. Do we want to move our stop loss to break even? No. Starting bar is going to be 50. Starting equity is going to be 1,000. Static leverage is going to be none. We don't want to do static leverage because we're doing dynamic. TP fee type, so we're going to be limiting. TP strategy type is going to be risk to reward, so our take profit strategy type is going to be risk to reward. Do we want to trail our stop loss? Yes. Do we want to, if we selected this as true, what type of break even do we want? Do we want to put break even that we lose $0, or do we want to put our break even at the actual entry? Okay, because you have to understand that there are fees associated with marketing in and marketing out. So if you just put your stop loss at your entry, you're still going to get hit with the fees. So there's a difference. So anyways, we'll do this. And then here, the next thing, we're going to have our dynamic order settings. So these are the things that are constantly going to be able to be changing and stuff like that. And we're going to be testing. So this is also going to have its own Cartesian product. So here is max equity risk percent. So we're going to be risking 12% of our account. Is that right? 12% of our account per trade. Maximum number of trades, we're not going to worry about that. So you put a 0. Risk account percent size is going to be 3. Oh, that's what it is. So 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%. So we can get into 4 different trades. That's what our max equity risk. This is risk account percent size, so that's going to be 3. So we're going to be risking 3% of our account on every single entry, all the way up until we have gotten to a point where we're at 12% or more of our 12% or more of our account. If that's at risk, then we do not enter anymore. Risk reward is going to be 5 to 1 risk reward. We are going to add 0.1% and 0.25% to our stop loss. So if our stop loss is at like 2,000, then we're going to add like 0.1% to 2,000, and we're going to put our stop loss there. So that way it's not exactly at the bottom, but it's a little bit lower than the bottom. And then you can do the 25. Stop loss based on look back is going to be, we're going to look back 20 candles and see what the lowest candle is out of those 20, and we'll put our stop loss there. And then there's also the 50. We're going to try that. Then we're going to say the stop loss candle body type is going to be low. So if you wanted to do a shorting strategy, this is where you change this to the high, right? We want to look back at the high. We don't want to look back at the low. Then stop loss to break even type, our candle body type. This is going to be none. Stop loss to break even, we'll just put this at 0 because we're not doing it. Trailing stop loss break even are based on candle body type is going to be the low. And then the trail stop loss by percent is going to be 0.5 and 1.0. And then trail stop loss win percent. So this means when we are 1% away from the current candle body low, if we are that, then trail the stop loss by 0.5% below this. So again, if we are at a candle, here's the candle, and here's our entry. If this distance is 1% or more, then we will trail our stop loss by 0.5%. So let's say that this distance is actually 1%. We will then put our stop loss here because it's 0.5% below the low. Okay, so we'll run that, and then now we'll actually run the actual backtest here. So we're going to say backtest result is going to equal run df backtest. So this is a data frame backtest. So backtest settings, backtest setting, candles, doth array, exchange settings, static OS, strategy, MACD strategy. And we'll run this, and let's see what this thing says here after it's done doing this thing. So it says we have total indicators settings to test is going to be 144. So that's the Cartesian product. Total order settings, its Cartesian products is 16 total possible combinations. 144 total possible combinations of the indicators. So a total combinations of 2,304 possible combinations that we have to test. And each and every single one of these combinations, 2,304, is going to be backtested on 3,000 candles. So we have to do this 2,304 times. So that's basically this times this gives us, we're going to basically be backtesting 7 million candles. Maybe? I mean, this could take a long time. Like a long time, but I'm going to go ahead and pause, and we'll see what happens, how long this takes. All right, so I didn't feel like waiting a million years, so I went and changed some settings, and now we only had 16, 2, and so now we have 700,000. The 700,000 candles took only a minute. And here, let's just go ahead and sort this. And so now we're going to do backtest results.sort values, QF score. And that's important because that basically tells you how straight to the upside. So basically the closer to 1 your QF score is, the more straight to the upside it is. Okay, so that's very, very important. That means that you have the least amount of drawdown. But what I've noticed, well, anyways, and so you can see here the total P&L over 3,000 candles. Just after 13 trades, you could have won $1,600 profit. That's total P&L. That's total profit. Okay. It tells you your fees paid. Tells you your win rate. Tells you your gain percentage. Tells you your wins, your losses, your trades, and most importantly, your indicator setting index and your dynamic order settings. Okay. And so, in order to further investigate, what we need to do here is say, okay, well, I want to see each individual trade, and I want to investigate more into, let's say, this one, because this one looks pretty sexy. So that means that we need to see indicator setting index 13 with dynamic order settings index 15. So what we need to do here is do order records df equals order records or backtest, and then we'll just do the same thing. Backtest settings, candles, DOS arrays, exchange settings, static, strategy. So now we have a DOS index is going to be 15, and indicator setting index is going to be 13. And now this is where we want to plot the results, and we also want to log our information. So if we need to, we can check to see what the hell is going on at each and every single loop, every single trade, every single everything. And so if we run this, we're going to see these are our dynamic order settings. This tells you exactly what we're actually running here. You can look at that if you want. Here is what the EMA looks like. Here are all of our signals that we generated. Here is each and every single trade. Here's where we moved our stop loss up, moving our stop loss up. We got stop down, moving our stop loss up. So here you can see that maybe with this, since we've just gone straight up, maybe it might be a good idea if you'd like to go through and test what it would be like to have a bigger trailing stop loss. Because maybe if we had a bigger trailing stop loss, we could have literally just trailed this original one all the way up. Right? And so you can see here, this is why the QF score is important, is because this is just going straight up. Like, I mean, this is just literally in less than a month could have made $2,000. Okay? And the next thing is that we want to actually see if we do our order records DF. This is our data frame. This tells you your indicator setting index, your order setting index, OR setting index. This is DOS. This is the DOS, baby. Bar index. So this tells you exactly at what bar it happened. It tells you the timestamp, the date time at what your entry was or whatever it was. So here we had an entry filled, we had our stop loss filled, we had an entry filled, entry filled, entry filled, entry filled, entry filled, stop loss filled, blah, blah, blah. So you can actually go through and see exactly what was happening, your entry size, all of this stuff. If I did a .t, you would be able to see. Here's all of the different possible things that you can see here. Your average entry, your fees paid, your leverage, your liquidation price, your possible loss, your trades. I mean, it just literally tells you everything that you need to know. Okay? And so, yeah, I think that is... So the next thing is to go live, right? To go live. And so, like I said, if you can show me that you can make a short, if you can make the short, or you attempt to make the short selling or the short strategy, then I will show you, I'll personally help you get this thing up and running live. So if you find some type of settings that you like, you can go live with it right now. And again, I'll help anybody who is out there showing me that they have what it takes to actually make this work, or they have the knowledge. Or if you're new and you just followed along, then what you do is you show me that you actually really want to learn this stuff. So you go and you learn the beginner's course. You go and you learn how to create your own, what is it called? Your own signals. You can create your own signals after you learn the basics. Then I'll help you with anything and everything, because I know that you're not going to be somebody that's going to necessarily waste my time, because I have a lot of stuff going on. So I will give basically free lessons to the people that really want it, that show that they're hungry, that show that they're actually out here to do it. All right? So I think that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And if you have any questions, you guys know where to go. Got, again, the exchanges here. Sign up. You get some free stuff. Either it'll tell you whether you get free money or percentage off or something. If it doesn't, you can message me. But here, use these links. It helps support the channel, and you don't have to do anything. It costs you nothing. Join the Discord community. There's the GitHub. There's some other YouTube channels and stuff like that.